My best friend stole my fiancé, so I let him ruin his own wedding. The night before my wedding, my best friend looked me in the eyes, hugged me and said, "Tomorrow's gonna be the best day of your life." 6 hours later, I found him in bed with my fiancé. I wish that was the worst part. It wasn't. When I ran to my parents for support, my mom looked at me and said, "Maybe this happened because you were never good enough for her." Then they all walked away, leaving me standing there alone. I'd known Jake since kindergarten. He was practically my brother. He was the best man at my wedding. He came on family vacations. My parents called him their second son. So when my fiancée, Sarah, suggested he help plan the wedding, I thought nothing of it. Looking back, that was probably when it started. She suddenly became protective of her phone. Jake always seemed to know where she was before I did. If I asked questions, they'd laugh and tell me I was insecure. I believed them. The night before the wedding, Jake invited me out for one last guy's night. He insisted I stay until almost 2 a.m. When I got back to our apartment, Sarah's car was there. So was Jake's. I opened the bedroom door. Neither of them even looked surprised. Sarah just sighed and said, "You weren't supposed to find out like this." Jake actually had the nerve to tell me, "You deserve someone who actually loves you." Then my phone started exploding. Photos, videos, messages. My own family had known about the affair for weeks. My sister admitted she'd caught them together. My parents told her to stay quiet because they didn't want to ruin the wedding. Not ruin my life. Ruin the wedding. They were willing to let me marry someone who was cheating on me just to avoid the embarrassment of canceling it. The next morning, everyone expected me to quietly call the wedding off. Instead, I told everyone the ceremony was still happening. Jake smiled. Sarah smiled. My parents looked relieved. None of them realized I'd spent the entire night making phone calls. The ceremony went exactly as planned. The music played. Guests cried. The vows were read. Then the officiant asked if anyone had anything to say before the marriage became official. I stood up. "I do." The room went silent. I walked to the front and asked the DJ to play a video. The first clip showed security footage from our apartment building. Jake entering. Hours later, me coming home. Then came hotel receipts, text messages, photos, even messages between my parents and Sarah discussing how to keep me calm until after the honeymoon. No one said a word. Sarah started crying. Jake kept yelling that I was humiliating them. I laughed. "You already did that yourselves." Sarah's father stood up, looked at her, took off the watch he'd planned to give me after the ceremony, and walked out without saying a single word. Her mother followed. Then Jake's parents. Then my grandparents. Within 5 minutes, over half the guests had left. The reception never happened. Neither did the marriage. Over the next few weeks, the fallout got even worse. Jake lost nearly all of his friends because everyone realized he'd been lying for months. Sarah tried convincing people we'd fallen in love naturally. Nobody bought it. The final twist came 3 months later. Jake proposed to Sarah. She said yes. 2 weeks after that, she cheated on him with one of his co-workers. He called me, actually expecting sympathy. I answered, listened quietly, then repeated the exact words he'd said to me. "You deserve someone who actually loves you." Before he could respond, I hung up. I haven't spoken to any of them since. Losing my fiancé hurt. Losing my best friend hurt even more. But finding out my own family would rather protect liars than protect me taught me something I'll never forget. Sometimes the people who betray you don't destroy your future. They remove themselves from it. And that's the best revenge you could ever ask for.